However, think about it really this question: what makes us really human and what makes us really different from another animals? Because as you know, human beings is a social animal. So what makes us really different and what makes us really human is the deep of our emotional intelligence. Animals do have emotion, but the biggest difference between us and them is the level and the deep of our emotion. And the next big difference between us and them is how we can imagine fake scenarios or fake futures from now. And we got emotional reaction from that future from now, whether it is good or bad. For example, let's take a look at yourself, or you really start imagine you're starting business and having good companies and run a lot of business, but at the same time you're going to think about, oh, what if I fail, and what if I lose these things, and what if this happens to me? No matter what you think, really it doesn't matter. You're going to have really emotional reaction from these things. And really, people what you really deal with them, and people what you really think or work with them, everybody's really is going to the cause of this emotional intelligence. As you know, really right now, people's parents, they don't have really, or they don't get really interaction with their children or with their parents, and they don't have really how they can teach or how they can really thought their children about emotional intelligence or cognitive dissonance. But if they did, really you're lucky. In this video, I'm gonna give practical tips about emotional intelligence, how we can control our emotion and how we become stable. If you really control your emotional intelligence, you become your best version of yourself, because emotion is the best part of your life. If you really can control your emotion, you can control the world. This is not a big or a bold promise. Because that is possible. If you can master your emotion, you can do whatever what you wanted. This is a practical tips and a reliable workers. If you are on the YouTube to watching something meaningful, please subscribe our YouTube channel. Here is Kenix, the place where real communication power you building. We bring an educational and motivational content, especially communicational content for provoking practical and book reviews. If you want to really like to watch this content, please subscribe our YouTube channel and like the videos. So let's begin. First, what is emotional intelligence? We have to really define the common term about it, because we're really going to understand about the deep of our emotional intelligence. So we have to really define the common term. So emotional intelligence is the ability to identify, manage, or really understand your emotion. That could be your emotion maybe, but it can also be another people's emotion. Because if you really master, or if you really become expert, or really read our understanding of your emotional intelligence, it can be really teach people who can be really more about obsessed this emotional intelligence, or people can really more about it. For example, if you have a children, or if you're a manager, or the CEO of one company, or maybe it can be in society or in community, you can teach to them to really regulate your calmness and emotional. Emotional intelligence is skill set, not a big deal, but is that a big deal? If you really take it a serious or a deep way, you can really master within a repetition. But if you really ignore it, then you cannot improve it, or you cannot really master it. So in this video, I'm gonna give you 3 special and basically simple and proven ways to really master your emotional intelligence. So let's start with the first one. The first tip is that completely really boost or really help you understand your emotions, or really boost your emotional intelligence. There is self-awareness. Yes, it is yourself. Yes, it is yourself. You need to understand about yourself. You need to understand about your emotion. You need to understand your personality. If you are aware about you can really do whatever what you wanted. For example, there are 2 persons who are go to the job interview to hiring in the same company, but the first person is aware about the company background, the company everything, what they are asking, and they really listen a lot of interview of previous hired people. And the other one is they don't have any clue about the company, and they don't have anything information about it, and they got to the interview would you really think about it really when the interview, or would you really gotta hire for about the question of the company? Really, the first one is this is not question, because you're really aware about the background of the company. So if you want to really change, for the most important skill, you cannot really improve it because you're not aware about yourself, or you cannot really aware about that things, whatever what you wanted. If you really change it, whatever what you wanted, for example, a lot of people, they gotta, they think about it, they think they are understand about their emotions, or they think, or they know about themselves completely, and they start reading a book, they got the self development and therapies, and they didn't about themselves nothing. Let me tell you the brutal truth. If you really master the 5% of conscious mind, really is determined your 90% of your emotions. Just only a 5% they can really determine, because it is all about awareness. If you're really aware about that things, you can completely change whatever what you wanted. If you say me, how can I master, or how can I really learn this self-awareness? If you say me, just go to your friends or your closer people around you, and they just ask about yourself, your strengths, your weakness, or when you really get sad or happier, and they ask it and really journal it. Then you really became about yourself aware. Journaling is the best way to really aware about yourself. If you want to really give person or success person, you have to really know about yourself. Then start journaling and ask people about you, then know about yourself. And the next tip that really help you boost or really help you understand your emotion is self-regulation. Now and previously I gave you self-awareness tips. Then you are really aware about yourself. Now you're really aware about your emotion. Now you're really aware about your everything, or your personality simply. So we're going to figure it out really to master this emotion or this self-awareness. We had to manage this emotion. When I say manage it, it's not about to really push it through away don't exist. It's just about really to use it, start with work together with your self-awareness and emotion. Emotion is something is came to your bodies, and your bodies want to release your emotion immediately. So if you don't really use it, or if you don't really release it, it was something is gonna be happen. So if you want to really understand your emotion, if you want to really having good emotion, or a man who can really help the people, a man who really understand another people emotion, really regulate yourself. So this regulation is when it can be really regardless yourself out of your circumstances, then you became your best vision of yourself. So try to master it and became your best vision of yourself. The third and the last one is if you want to really boost your emotional intelligence, or really if you want to really understand your emotion, there is adaptability, or there is the power of being more flexible on your emotional response. Because emotional training is just like muscle training. The more you train it, the stronger that you will get it. But a lot of people stress and anxiety on something, they're going to able to change really the world, but that is impossible, because the world really acts different from us and act in different ways. So the purpose, or the only thing is we can really do it better reacting around the world. That's the only thing is we can do it really. Because if you want to really react it better, everything is just going on in that ways. So this is the three powerful really emotional intelligence tips that you can really help understand your emotion. Really, if you master each one of them, really you make yourself really powerful, emotionally understand, or emotionally better person. This is really important and really boosts your communication as well. As for example, if someone is really react or criticizing your ideas, you really hear his ideas and say you get a feedback, just say thank you, and you don't say anything about reacting. That was really the difference between that. So really master these tips that completely boost your communication, because everybody's really trying to master this communication. But as I told you before, you have to really aware about yourself, or you have to aware about your emotion. Then after that emotion, you have to really change it within the self-regulation, because you after aware of yourself, after you know about your personality, you have to really change it to management, or you have to really put together or start together without work. Then after you work with that together, you have to adapt that things on your personality. That is the power of responding, more flexibility. So it is Kenix, really the place where real communication power you build it. So which one would you really like, or which one would you really prefer to do in your communication, or if you which one would you really master in your emotional intelligence? So drop in the comments, throw in the comments, I will read it. And thank you so much. I appreciate it to stay with me till the end, and like the video and share for your friends. We will meet in other videos.